Hello grade 8 and 9s, my name is Mr. Eviwe Mtubu. My pupils call me Mr. Mtubu. You're welcome to call me any of those. I will be covering a couple of lessons over Mapwork with you guys. I'm very happy to be doing this lesson for you. Welcome to my Thuma Mina Teaching. Maps are awesome. If a picture is worth 1,000 words, maps are worth 10,000 more. They are jam-packed with loads of information. Excuse me, editor. The last three should have not been there. They are part of a game. Today we'll be learning about the fundamentals of maps as well as learning about different types of maps. Maps are about conveying all types of information in a straightforward and visual way. Do you remember when you were a kid and you played around with treasure maps? What did they give you? Information, right? So do maps for grown-ups. They give all types of information. They teach about the world by displaying country sizes. They can give us the area, which is the area of the country, and forms and locations of geographic features. So, for example, where the mountains are, where the rivers are, and where buildings are, etc. And distances between places. So these distances are generally scaled down to fit into a sheet of paper. Maps can depict the distribution of objects on Earth. So we are able to tell settlement patterns from the Earth. So when you're in grade 10, 11 and 12, you'll learn about different settlement patterns. Right? They can tell us where most people are concentrated and which areas have the most vegetation. There are many reasons why maps are so important, and I think that they are worth a class discussion. So if you're in class, right, I'm going to have 4 headings pop up on the screen, and you're welcome to just take a quick pause to discuss some of the headings that come up. In this lesson, we'll introduce the following maps: a physical map, a political map, a thematic map, an orthophoto, and a topographical map. Let's start off with a political map. A political map is a map that looks like the one I have here. We can use political maps, as I said earlier on, to depict different types of information. We can depict borders of countries, we can look at provincial boundaries, we can look at capital cities and other important towns. We can have major roads, like the N1 and N2 in Cape Town. We can have airports or other spatial and significant places. Political maps show legal, jurisdictional, political, or administrative boundaries. These help people understand the geography of the world. These maps are frequently used to depict census data like the one we had in 2022 and even election results like the ones we're having in 2024. Now we're transitioning from political maps going into physical maps. Physical maps depict the natural features of the Earth, so the things we see physically that come from the Earth. We can use physical maps to see rivers, lakes, and other water bodies. We're also able to see mountain ranges, right? It also has a color key that shows the height of areas above sea level. Remember that our 0 in maps is sea level, not 0 meters. We can also see deserts, marshes, swamps, and deltas from a physical map. Physical maps are useful for studying the natural environment and understanding how physical features interact with one another. For example, we're able to see how mountain ranges affect the weather. Do you remember in climatology grade 8, you learned about orographic rain? We are able to see if an area gets this type of rain from physical maps. We are also able to see how rivers shape the landscape on which they flow. And now we're transitioning to thematic maps. Thematic maps display data about a specific theme or topic. Thematic maps look like the one I have here. They are able to give us information about specific land uses and resources. Thematic maps can use small images of symbols to express some of these concepts, such as minerals and mines. They can also show us industries and power stations. They can also show transport routes and areas where a particular crop is farmed. They can also show us areas where a particular type of animal is farmed. Thematic maps are quite powerful. They can be used to analyze different spatial patterns and relationships between different phenomena, such as the relationship between population density and urban development, or the distribution of natural resources across a region. These maps can also be used to study the impact of human activities on the environment, such as the distribution of pollution sources or even the location of wildlife habitats. And now, grade 8s and 9s, we are moving to the two maps that are most important for your high school career: topographical maps and orthophotos. A topographical map is a map that shows all the man-made and natural features, like the one we have right here. We will go into more detail in our next lesson about this map. An orthophoto map is a combination of an aerial photo, which is a photo normally taken by an aeroplane, and a map. This map normally covers a small section of a topographical map. That section is normally written as a demarcated area within a topographical map. It is normally drawn with a little red square on your topographical map. Okay, learners, now for you to make sense of these maps. On your left is the map, and on the right is the VR pilot who will travel through this mapped area to show you the areas and features that are represented on the map, and hopefully this will help you conceptualize it. I always wanted to go to Durban. Leo, please take us through Durban.
Thanks, this is your captain speaking. I'll gladly head over to Durban. Now, as I fly through Durban, try to identify me on the map and compare the map with the simulations that you see in this fly-through. Can you identify this place? Here we've got a golf course, and let's head over and end at the stadium.
Maps can be used to give our absolute location using latitude and longitude. Guess what? This video happens to be sponsored by the Latitude Hotel in Cape Town. Now I'm going to run through some of the basics of Mapwork that are very important to understand before going into detail about maps. I'll be doing this in great speed, so be sure to watch it again if you missed it the first time. I'm going to cover this list in less than 90 seconds, so let's do it. Firstly, latitude and longitude lines are used to help locate points on the Earth's surface. Latitude lines run horizontally around the globe and are measured in degrees north or south of the equator. Longitude lines run vertically and are measured in degrees east or west of the prime meridian or Greenwich meridian, depending on how your primary school teacher called it. In addition, we have the Earth's angle of axis, which is the angle between the Earth's rotational axis and a line perpendicular to the plane of the ecliptic. This angle is currently about 23.5 degrees, which is why we have the seasons on Earth as the angle of the sunlight changes throughout the year. Next, we have the concept of map scales. Maps come in different scales, which refer to the relationship between the distance on the map and the actual distance on the ground or in real life. Large-scale maps show a small area in great detail, while small-scale maps show a larger area with less detail. For example, we have orthophotos and topographical maps, as I've mentioned before. The orthophoto normally covers a demarcated area in a topographical map.
And lastly, we have the concept of time zones. Time starts at the Greenwich meridian, which is the 0 degrees line of longitude. There's a 1 hour change in time for every 15 degrees. At the 180 degrees line of longitude, we have the IDL, the International Date Line. It's where the day changes. People traveling westward around the world must set their clocks back by 1 hour for every 15 degrees of longitude crossed, and forward by 24 hours upon crossing the International Date Line.
Lastly, we have images taken from a satellite called satellite images or from an aeroplane called aerial photos. We have two types of aerial photos, a vertical aerial photo or an oblique aerial photo. An oblique aerial photo is generally taken from an angle. Think of a bird's eye view. A vertical one is taken from directly above the features mapped. These are images of the Earth taken from space or from an aircraft, as I've said, and can be used to create maps and study the Earth's surface in great detail. And so, grade 8s and 9s, we've currently reached the conclusion of our lesson. Now, this lesson was just to give you a quick overview of the most important types of maps. Of course, we're not saying these are all types of maps, but these are the ones you'll interact with as you go in your geography career. In our next lesson, we'll be zooming specifically into topographical maps, as these are maps that you'll be working with mostly this year and next year. Now, grade 8s and 9s, remember to check the description of this video down below. Here you'll find a self-marking assessment and Google Slides. It is very important to check your understanding, and this assessment will help you do just that. Thank you so much for watching. I wish you all the best for your map work and hope to see you next time.